And the Nigerian Export Promotion Council says that improved exports remains a solution to the free fall of the Naira to the dollar. The Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of the NEPC, Dr. Ezra Yakusak, said this at a news conference that was earlier to flag off the Council's National Conference on Non-Oil Exports. But according to him, with increased exports from Nigeria, the Naira will gain value in the international markets. And now let's get updates and talk more about what is happening in the non-oil space. And I'm being joined by the #1 exporter in the country, is the Chief Executive Officer, Executive Director, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Dr. Ezra Yakusak. He joins me via Zoom, live from Abuja. Thank you so much. It's good to have you on the program. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Nigerians. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me on the show.
Well, let's start with the theme of the just concluded National Conference on Non-Oil Exports, building a sustainable national economy through non-oil exports. I know that conference was indeed successful with the array of guests and all that we saw there. But why did you choose this topic at this time?
Okay, thank you very much. The theme or topic was carefully chosen in light of the current economic realities of the country, i.e., the dwindling government revenues and foreign exchange deficits, and which has proven beyond doubt that oil can no longer sustain our economy. So, and we believe the path to sustainable growth is non-oil export. And so what the NEPC was trying to say, or is still saying, is that there is still hope, and the hope is non-oil export. So that theme was carefully chosen in view of what is happening right now in Nigeria. And I'm happy that at the end of the conference, a 13-point communique was issued, and of course, with an array of stakeholders coming and talking on oil export and giving solutions of panacea on how to move forward.
A good way to start our conversation, ED. But let's continue to your submission where you revealed that the key to stabilizing the free fall of the Naira against the dollar lies in enhancing the country's export capacity. Can you make more sense of this statement?
Okay, I said that because let's look at what is happening now. The Naira is going down on a daily basis. On a daily basis, the Naira is going down. What we never envisage is what is happening. And so, why? Because we don't have enough foreign exchange. So how do we get foreign exchange? There are three main or major sources of getting foreign exchange. One is by diaspora remittances. The other one is foreign exchange, foreign direct investment. Then the next one, which is, key to us, is non-oil export. And among these three sources, the one that is more sustainable, the one that we have control over, the one we can take over, we can say we are taking the destiny of the nation on our hands, is non-oil export. And so that is very key. And if you listen to the Vice President during that conference, he said, as a nation, we can no longer afford to walk this uncertain path. That uncertain path, relying heavily on oil export. So, and that is our message, i.e., we have to change the trajectory in our economy and embrace non-oil exports, because that's the only way we feel Nigeria can come back. Our economy can be revived.
Let's take a step further and also ask you that at a time in August, the NEPC put together a capacity building program with focus on non-access to bank financial services by exporters. I want to ask you how this is affecting the smooth growth of non-oil exports in the country. What level of progress has been made with regards to finances?
Okay, generally in Nigeria, of course, Nigeria, most economic activities, lack of finance is very key. And it's actually hampering the growth of non-oil export here today. Because, the banks, the interest rate is very high, 20-something%. There's no how a Nigerian exporter can compete favorably in the export space with the exchange rate and, of course, lack of finance. So you recall, shortly after our August meeting, we organized a forum of bankers. I mean, we invited bankers across the country. 29 banks actually attended, scheduled officers of bankers. We interfaced with them, and we inform them, and we tell them, and we train them. It was a capacity building program on what it takes to provide such finances to exporters. And of course, right now, we organize a mentoring session for, young exporters. We send them to various export firms that have been exporting, and they are doing very well. And so that mentoring program, we involve banks. Banks are willing to finance it. At least 3 banks have indicated their intention or willingness to finance those programs. We're going to launch the first mentoring program on 24th of this month, that's October. And so we are moving ahead. That's the only thing I can say for now.
There are a lot of challenges affecting the growth of non-oil exports in this country, and I'd really like us to touch on them before we continue this conversation. Packaging, documentation, and all of this. And I know that the NEPC has been on the front burner trying to address some of these challenges. Can you bring us up to speed with how far we are doing now? How exciting is it to get into the export business at this time, ED?
Okay, in terms of packaging, what we've done so far is to organize various capacity building programs on packaging. We identify skill gap in various sectors. And so we organize various capacity building programs because we believe, and the fact is that without adequate packaging, no matter how good your product is, it can be, that product will never be accepted, in the international market space. So packaging is very key. And one of the issues or one of the challenges we've had with our products is not the quality of the product. It's not even the quantity, it's the packaging. Packaging is very key. And so what in NEPs we've tried to do is to organize various capacity programs and, on packaging. And we have taken a step further to see how we can assist exporters and identify various packaging firms and connect them with such exporters to improve our packaging. Because whatever we need to do to improve non-oil export, whatever we need to do to improve the competitiveness of our product, that is what we are doing. There are so many challenges, of course, infrastructural deficiency, so many other challenges, but we're taking them one after the other.
Interesting. Let's shift our focus to Kaduna State, where the NEPC, according to the reports, has begun moves to find a lasting solution to the fungi disease destroying most ginger farms in that state. I know what ginger means when we talk about export, and I think Nigeria's ginger is a special kind. I heard that from you, ED. But can you take us through the details of this development?
We received various reports from exporters and even from the Kaduna State government that there's a fungi infestation on various ginger farms. And so we took a step further, we took a proactive step, and we visited some of these farms. And by the way, the disease is a bit strange because that's the first time the farmers are seeing that kind of disease, and it has affected about 7 local governments. It's airborne and of course soil-borne disease. Now, on inspection, we realized that about 2,503 hectares of farmland have been affected, with a total loss of about 8 to 10 billion naira. That is not good for us because Nigeria ginger is one of our main sources of foreign exchange in terms of export. So what that means is that if ginger has been affected, it simply means it's going to affect our non-oil export performance for this year and, of course, subsequent years. And so there is need for us to tackle that. And in NEPC, what we promised them was, we promised them we're going to give them what we call GAP, that's good agricultural practices, seed dressing, and also improved seedlings to see how we can cope that. Because like you said, Nigeria ginger is one of the best in the world because of its aroma, because of its potency, and because of the high oil content of the ginger. And so we've cried out, it's like a crop pandemic, and so we've cried out to the federal government that the federal government should treat the way they treated and the way they fought COVID-19 pandemic to a standstill. They should tackle the ginger infestation.
Allow me to interject. Hello, Edie. Allow me to interject you. Let's take a break just for a minute. We'll be back and continue this discussion. We're glad to have you back. I still have the Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Dr. Ezra Yakusak, joining us from Abuja to look at issues in the non-oil space, and we're making real sense of it. Yes, we're talking about what happened in Kaduna State. And before we went on that break, please, I'd like you to take that all again, because it's not easy. I heard that loss about 8 billion naira or something. So take us through what happened there and what's the position of things at the moment. Thank you very much.
Okay. What I said was that we received various reports from Kaduna State, from the state government and exporters and farmers, that there was a strange disease, a fungi infestation of ginger in Kaduna State. So we took a proactive step and visited some of these farms. And what we saw was quite appalling. What we saw was devastating. The disease is airborne, and about 7 local governments were affected by this strange disease. And of course, ginger is usually green in nature. The healthy ginger is green, but at the end of the day, by the time you see the ginger that's affected by this strange disease, everything just melted. And about 2,503 hectares of land were affected with an estimated loss of 8 to 10 billion naira. Now, ginger is one of the main sources of our foreign exchange. Ginger is one of the main exportable products in Nigeria. And so we took it up because we know the implication. What that means is that by the end of this year or next year, the non-oil export performance will be affected because a major crop is affected. That may also affect the world ginger price, because the best ginger is in Nigeria. It's considered the best because of its aroma, because of its potency, which is quite unique, and because of the high eleucine content. And by the time you look at that ginger, the rhizomes are very small or soft and so abnormal. And that's why we call on the federal government that the federal government should treat this ginger pandemic, I call it a crop pandemic, with the same viciousness they treated COVID-19, and we had solution on COVID-19. So that is the position right now of ginger in Kaduna State.
Very, very worrisome at this time where the NEPC is targeting $5 billion revenue from non-oil exports. What is the council putting in place to make this a reality?
We put several programs in place to make our target a reality. Unfortunately, this ginger pandemic is coming up, and it may affect our projection. That's a fact. It may affect our projection. But then, no hope is lost. We're not deterred. We're moving ahead. And so we've put up other programs that will increase our non-oil performance. And one of it is the Youth Export Program. And this is in line with the federal government. If you look at this present administration, they've placed premium on youth empowerment. And so what we did was to launch a Youth for Export Program, where youths will be onboarded and trained and build capacity. Then I will now send those youths to various exporters for them to go into practical export. And of course, our capacity building program is, the certification program, Go Global, Go certification is going on. Right now, we are trying to certify about 200 SMEs. Yesterday, we had a meeting with the Executive-Director of ECOSAT from South Africa. He came to our office yesterday, and part of the process is to expand the certification process for exporters so that our products can have access to various niche markets. And of course, we intend opening up various export trade houses again. Dubai is next. Everything has been done. and we're making efforts to open up Dubai and Dubai. And of course, you are aware of our flagship program, the Export for Survival campaign. We're not resting. We're not resting. We are telling Nigerians, sensitizing Nigerians on the need to export as a means of survival.
Exports indeed as a means of survival. What more countries are you looking at? You talked about Dubai now. I know something has been done with Kenya, Lome, I think some other countries and all of that. How well are we still doing, or what countries should we expect? Where are we spreading our tentacles to make all Nigerian products be on those shelves as soon as possible?
Well, let me just bring you to speed. We've opened up a trade house in Nairobi, one in Lome, Togo, another one in Kenya, and of course in China. So right now we're making an arrangement to open another one in Dubai, launch or another one in Dubai, and we're looking at Saudi Arabia. Our intention, our projection is that key commercial centers in the world will have various export trade houses, or what you can call trading companies, trading firms. And we're doing this, it's a PPP arrangement with Nigerians. We identify them, we empower them, and we send them out there to open up those trade houses within, of course, some guidelines. And so far, the result has been very, very impressive because we receive results of improved exports in those areas, in China, in Cairo, Egypt, and of course, Kenya.
Finally, what will be your message to exporters, financial institutions, other players in the value chain at this time? And what are the possible projections and expectations as we move on?
Well, my advice to exporters is let's keep doing what we're doing. Let's keep moving on. The terrain may be a bit difficult, maybe quite challenging. I mean, the economic terrain may be quite challenging, but that should not deter us. We're doing this for our nation. We're doing this for our nation. We're doing this for Nigeria. And our projection, of course, our projection is that we're still projecting that we're going to hit that $5 billion mark at the end, $5 billion mark at the end of this year.
That would be good. That would help Nigeria shore up some reserves. I must thank you so much, Executive Director, Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Dr. Ezra Yakusak. Thank you so much. Do enjoy the rest of your day. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.